I got chills, they're multiplying. Guys, just on a walk in beautiful Quebec. As usual, it's pretty gorgeous. So I was speaking with Infinity Watch and Event Skeptic, and I think this came into conversation. When I was like, when the Ottawa shooting and the Paris shooting happened, I was both times in places where I was like speaking to people publicly in a semi-casual manner, and I was able to speak with them semi-regularly. So I would commonly be on my phone trying to, you know, do stuff, trying to show that these were staged events and whatnot. And people would be wondering why I was so busy, and they'd ask me, and I'd be like thinking to myself, oh boy, they had no clue what they just asked. And I would tell them, right? And, you know, whether or not they'd agree, and a lot of the time they wouldn't, you know, it was still something that, like, I really needed to tell them, you know, at least to give them a chance to know. As for the plane, you know, I'd be there and, you know, I'd be working, just like trying to make a video on it or whatever. And they'd ask me, you know, it's like, what's up? You look busy, what's going on? I'd be like, seriously? You don't want to know. You just don't want to know. All right? That's all it is. I can't, no, there's no reason why this needs to be a part of your life too. So, so that's how I felt. And it kind of made me like think of, you know, when I make a video, who am I kind of targeting? Like, who am I really speaking with? So I figured I'd make a video talking about that. So I was thinking about what my process is when I create a video. And I think a very important part of it is, who do you want to reach when you create one? And that will affect your content and many other factors when you are creating your videos. So I think the better that we take a look into that, maybe the more efficiently that we can reach our audience. And what I believe our mission statement is, and I could be wrong on this, but at least one of them, one of the major ones, is to try and get this information out that staged events happen to as many people as possible, okay, to all levels of awareness. And I think if we just take a look at maybe the different levels of awareness in our audiences or potential audiences, we'll be able to more efficiently communicate this information. So what I created here today, and it's very basic, I don't expect it to be perfect by any means, is 4 general shells. The inside, and basically, sorry, these 4 shells represent people, I guess. Okay, and each shell, the further that you go in, would be more aware of what our movement speaks out for. The center, the black, being our movement. And before I go any further, I understand that this looks a heck of a lot like Saturn, especially with the black in the center, like a black hole sun and everything like that. All the different colors. I get that, guys. But there's nothing I can do without touching on the primary colors: green, orange, purple, Nike swooshes, X's, O's, squares, cubes, hexagons, pentagons, 5-sided stars, 8-sided stars, 6-sided stars, 7-sided stars. There's nothing I can do, etc., 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 without making things sometimes look like Saturn. I'm very sorry, but this is not having anything to do with Saturn, but just a way to get this out. Anyways, getting back on topic. As you can see, each level of awareness, as you get further away from the shell, it is actually larger. And on the outside, you have the unaware. Okay, and this is basically what the mainstream media caters to. If these people even watch TV, I'm not going to call them sheep, because you know what? I think it's an old name. You know what? People are actually using this since like the mid-late 1800s. Okay, so you know, I don't want to use that term anymore. I'm just going to say the unaware. You know, rather than name calling. These are the guys that are very, very hard to get to, but you can create videos that actually get a massive amount of views. You can reach a lot of people if you can find a way to connect to this mainstream, okay? And the black line that's on the outside, that actually represents our goal. We want everybody inside this to be aware, okay, of what we have to say. Of course, this is maybe an unrealistic goal, but this is what we're going to shoot for and hope for the best. As you get further in, I find that the groups tend to be smaller, and maybe they carry less weight in the information war, okay? But these are the guys that are more likely to understand and be able to rationalize the information that you put forth to them, okay? So as we get further in, we have the acceptable, quote unquote, I use that very loosely, by the way, activism and special interests. So, you know, people who are, they don't understand that there is evil behind the scenes that's doing it intentionally for evil, but they see problems with the system and they want to fix it, right? And they may be misled, you know, or whatever. And it's our job to try and get our information out to them so that they understand what's going on, okay? So basically, these people would be like your GMOs, environmentalism, things like that, social activism, stuff like that. These people are not completely unaware of what's going on in the world, and they try and put effort to make it a better place. But they may not be understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. And then you get further in, you have general conspiracy, and these are people that are understanding that there is something much worse than GMOs, and just like these are people trying to make money. They understand that it's not so much about the money, but the power and control, possibly. Okay, and this could be like, for a good example of this, you could even say the Occupy movement would be a general conspiracy theory group, I guess you could say. And the reason why I say that is that most of them became aware because of this movement that there are very, very rich people out there that are using their money and power in order to oligarchalize their power, to be able to, you know, have more control over who enters the big scene, so that they don't lose or forfeit any power whatsoever. So there's people that understand that there are some evil things being, evil people behind the scenes, but they may not be able to understand that these people will also carry out acts that could be stranger than fiction. Like the quote, the big Jessie quote that, you know, you can't make this shit up. And there is that heavy barrier between, and I understand it because it really is so hard to believe sometimes that so many people are involved in a lot of these events. So I can see how you can be a general conspiracy theorist, but have no time for the hoax crowd, quote unquote, because it's a very strong leap. This is one thing that is just very hard to get out to the people. And you and I should all, like you guys and myself included, we know that. You know, it is hard to say this and speak out about it. You have to have a very strong will. And, you know, sometimes it's harder. But the more people that wake up to this, the easier it'll be for the people that are kind of cast out by like the shame of being a hoax truther with the hoax crowd and stuff like that. That will slowly go away the more that we work towards more people knowing. So what I would suggest going on from there, and I'm kind of guilty of this from time to time, sometimes I make too many videos that are just for that very inner circle, for our crowd. And there's nothing wrong with that. You could do that all the time. And there's nothing inherently wrong with it, because there's very important things that we need to address internally. We need to be better communicators. We need to be able to discern things and be able to challenge each other's beliefs, all that kind of stuff. And that's something that needs to be improved. So there's nothing wrong with that. However, when we look at that so much, we're not really getting our message outwards. Okay, and you can see that I've been doing a lot of these videos over the past month or so, and I really haven't gained any subscribers. I've been stuck on like mid 3,300 of all numbers, by the way. Of all numbers, 3,300. Okay, but I don't make all videos like that. I mean, I have one here. The rich are even richer than expected, and that could go right even to the unaware. because they understand that there's a lot of rich people out there and they don't really like that so much. A lot of people don't. So they might even be interested in that. A lot of people like the KONY 2012 thing as well. So I touched on both of those things to try and catch the audience. It didn't really work out so much. It was stuck on 301. I don't think it got many more videos than that, even if I did get Scroogled. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a good idea to try and make videos where you're trying to reach out to larger audiences, and then pull them into our information circle so that they will be able to learn about what's really going on. Here's an embarrassing example of this. If you search Illuminati wardrobe malfunction, you are going to see at the top my video. I know, guys, I know. The Illuminati wardrobe malfunction with Nicki Minaj and Ariana Grande, whatever. Yeah, and actually, this had the largest amount of views out of any of my videos. So, and I actually took that video with that information, what people wanted to really watch at the time, and these weren't anybody from like our group or whatever. These were just like normal people that watched the VMAs. And they look at that, and then I literally sent that video to Saturn and explained that the entire set was Saturn worship. So I got into a lot of things. And you know what? I think that kind of stuff can be highly effective. Just like on the other side of the spectrum, it's not something that I think is necessarily wrong if you were to do this all the time, if you were to make videos like this all the time. Because this does get out to a lot of people. But like I said before, there is a need for communication within this community. This is a heavily attacked community for what we put out. And the more that we can communicate, the better. So sometimes there are disadvantages to sticking to one end of this spectrum, to staying on the outside and staying on the in. I think a very effective strategy is being able to work all levels and being able to bring them back inwards by reaching out to them and being able to communicate on all of these shells, these layers, because we are all really on the same level. We are lowly humans, and none of us knows everything. Within each of these layers, especially within ours, there are infinite other layers on the side, the inside, whatever you want to say, of things that we need to learn. Okay, and this is why I don't normally like to put things into such divisions like this, because things are much more complex than that. We are no better than the people that are in the red, the yellow, the green, or the others in the black. We really aren't. We need to be able to recognize that and not call them out when they disagree with you in an uncivil manner. One really effective channel for this, I find, is Press Reset Earth, Press Reset Radio. I'll have the links down below because he can really talk about anything. As you can see, when I made that video, we actually made them at around, well, we made them at the same time pretty much. We kind of worked together on it. And his actually went up to 1 million views. I mean, that's one of the first videos I've seen, a truther video from our group, that actually made it to 1 million. So congratulations, by the way, man. That is awesome. And what he is very effective at doing, he can speak about the truth movement for days if he wanted, you know. But he also brings it to many things. He likes to talk about space. He likes to talk about politics. He gets in a lot into the geopolitical wars. And then he can go to things like this as well. And it's very effective on all fronts. He can communicate with so many different people. I don't know if you like him. I don't know if you don't like him. It doesn't really matter to me, but I think it is undeniable that he's a great communicator, and I highly recommend subscribing to him if you'd like to learn how to be a more effective communicator yourself. I think that kind of covers it. So, I mean, the moral of this is the more that we know who we want to connect with, the better we will be able to connect with them. And the more rounded individuals we are, I think the better that will serve the movement towards what I believe is its ultimate goal, of making sure everybody is aware of what's going on so that we can finally take a stand against it. So I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you're new, and if you have any comments, questions, anything at all, please post it below. This has been the Ottawa Expositor.